everything is by error. There was no actual plan like I want to be the kind of Swiss officer knife for audio post-production. Basically, my background is music. I came from producing music, and most of the time I was a front of house mixer, like with bands on tour and mixing them. And by error, I got an offer to work for a small soap opera back in the days, and this was my entry into TV and movie audio post production. If you like to know, there's also interesting story, because I was
of course.
was always into sound. And obviously, everybody would say, okay, do you do something with music, or you do something with whatever audio techniques? But my first 20 years, I didn't got to the point to realize this is a real job. I started DJing as I was, I think, 10 back in the 80s. Like, I mixed.
That's pretty early.
Yeah, quite early. And it was rap music, Public Enemy, Two Live Crew, Eazy-E. This was the kind of sound I dropped. And in the end of the 80s.
So that's why the T-shirt, Run DMC.
Yeah, all right. Is still a big fan.
Yeah, I can relate. Yeah. I'm also into hip-hop since the late 90s.
Yeah, nice. In the end of the 80s, or beginning of the 90s, there was techno. Techno coming up, and I swapped from rap music or hip-hop music to electronic music, because it was kind of my punk rock. Most of my friends and other people and the grown-ups, they say, this is not music, this is noise. And I was really curious to find out more. And then after a few years, I became a professional DJ and made some money playing music in the clubs. But after a few years, I thought, I'm not sure, maybe techno and house is gone in a few years. And I was really struggling, because some parts of the scene wasn't really me, and I didn't feel to support that. And I was sitting in a bar with a friend, and I said, I don't know what to do. It was around 20 or something, 21. And he said, why don't you do something with audio technique? And I realized, man, this is a job, audio technique, right? And then, it was totally clear after I had a visit with my father at a private audio school that I want to do this. There was an ADT, big frame, 56 channels, and VCA controlled mixing, desking. It was like, whoa, rock and roll, this is my thing. And this is my little story. There it began. But in the first place, it was about music production, it wasn't film.
Yeah, as it is with many of us, right?
Yeah.
So many sound engineers come from music, including me.
Yeah, right.
And so you started your career as an engineer then in live production as a front of house mixer.
Yeah, I was young. After I graduated and finished at audio school, I went to Greece and lived there for a year and did for Robinson as a holiday club. I did there a sound and light technique. I was a sound and light technician, but also you got to do other stuff there. Like we needed to be part of 2 shows. They got a cycle of 2 weeks and several shows. Yeah. And I picked tap dancing, so I learned tap dancing. It was quite interesting. And was a sketch show, and was the other one. And for all the other shows, I was the guy doing, the placing the microports and mixing. They are sometimes singing or telling stuff or acting or whatever, and I did light and sound there. And back in Germany, after one season, I started doing more of that live stuff. And that been, I'm grateful. Companies, they're looking for young people to do that. And it was very fast that I'm mixing bands and being with bands on tour. It was very interesting and I had a real good learning curve how to install the live PA system and make it sound, and all the problems you have most of the time, feedbacks, and to eliminate them.
So we have basically almost a similar story. So I didn't join the Robinson Club thing, but I had a recent vacation there with my family, so I know what you're talking about. And as I started out in sound, I was also interning in music studios and then earning money at the side as a event technician.
Oh, nice! Yeah.
And my goal was always to be the front of house or monitor mixer, but I ended up always just handling the cabling and getting all the boxes and stuff out of the vans and back in. So never really the job that I wanted to do, except for a few occasions where they actually needed someone and then I could step in. And there was also a group of youngsters. They did some rap show events in my hometown, and they booked me to mix those, which was also very exciting, and I really loved that. But this front of house mixing never really took off for me because my music was the priority number one. So there was I realized that when I had an opportunity to become the full-time live mixer for a band, like a friend of mine, or basically someone who's not my friend, but I knew him from a studio I was interning, and he was going on tour. So he asked me do you want to do the front of house and also monitoring all included? Because it was a small club tour.
The small
and I said, yes, okay, let's try it. So I did the mixing then for him it was in my favor because the first concert was in the club I was working before in my hometown. And I was also mixing those little shows here and there. So I knew the venue and I knew everything, so I could deliver a good job. But during the show, I wanted to step on stage with the artist to perform some freestyle rapping myself.
Okay.
So after the concert, I asked how did you like the mix? And they said everything was fine, totally cool, but we want someone else to mix our tour because you are clearly preferring to be on stage and not behind the mixing desk.
Okay.
And that opened my eyes. Okay, there's something true about that. And that's how I understood what was going on back in the days. But after a couple of years in the music thing and after producing my first album, which was then not as successful as I wished, I decided to look for something else. And the only thing I didn't look for in audio engineering was film. So that's how I entered the whole film industry.
It was for me the same. There was no plan at all to go to do some movies. It was about music, and whether my times doing live stuff, I thought about to start producing stuff, and privately I did that. But it's about time management, and when you're young, there are other things in life to do, and we only have 24 hours, so was a little less producing my own stuff as I was working and having a good time. And then was the day, there was a guy from my school, he was actually a teacher, and he called me and said, I'm doing here a soap opera, can you help me out? It's quite easy. So you can do that. And I went to that post facility, and they had Avid Media Composer back in the days, and was, I think, one of the first companies really working with Avid Media Composers. And I had a system.
That is the editing software.
Video picture editing.
Picture editing.
Right. Yeah. And it's from Avid. and they had a machine. What is it in English? Organ. It's like Organ on German. We said Organ. It's I think a Dutch company was that. It was 8-track hard drive recorder, hard disk recorder with optical like cartridges. And then he had something like a sound library, and it was with buttons. You got a clicker there. Okay, select this, and then I select that, and I push it over. And basically, my job was to drop background sounds for that show, and here and there, door opening, door closing, and a cell phone ring. But it was after a while, because we did something like 250 or 260 episodes. And it was a kind of boring. So when we had that like shot in the bakery and the talking heads and they were talking, I was creating with a few tracks like accidents in the background. Like there was a car accident because I found crash sounds in the library, and then the ambulance is coming, and one track of Walla, like, oh, what's going on there? And there was a car accident. Right. I found that, and it was always behind the door. You barely could hear this, but this guy moved on to another company and did their sound design for, I don't know, a year or whatever. And then he called me and he said, you got to come over because I need you again. You need to do sound design. I realized you're good with the sounds. You like to create some soundscapes. It's okay, I need you here. And it was Action Concept. And this is one of the biggest European film companies back in the days, because we had something like 600 employees, like, fixed employees. And a complete post-production, visuals, and the editing department and sound department. We shot on film, so you had the whole telescene thingy going on. Telescene means you shoot on film, then you grab that material and convert it to a digibeta tape, and then to broadcast it on TV. And I thought, okay, why not? And I asked him, what's that? I'm still freelancer. No, it's you're going to be employed, and it's a fixed job, and come over. And I saw that, and then I realized, okay, what they're doing. Oh, it's an action TV show? So I'm supposed to do the shootouts, explosions, and car crashes and everything? Yeah, and there you go. That was my job for 6 years.